places like this obviously are steeped in tradition with generation after generation following into the lifeboat crew. They would have all been fishermen then. Loads of fishermen here, probably 50 or 60 fishermen, so all the lifeboat crew would have been fishermen. The transition from a fishing boat to this vessel, with the technology that's involved, is a huge step. So it's a huge challenge for someone with 30 or 40 years experience of fishing. Someone said to me yesterday, we've had this boat 12 months. Have you got the boat sorted out? Well, we've got the boat sorted out, but we're learning, and we'll always be learning. And look out, when you put your hand up and say, right, we've got it sorted out, we've learned all there is to learn, that's the time that something will kick you up the backside. And my crew turn around, if they lose faith in me for some reason, or decide they aren't going to see with me, I can appeal to the highest man in the land, but it still isn't going to work when the boat's called out because they won't go. So because of that, it's a job that you either really want to do or you shouldn't go anywhere near. It's a way of life. All our crew are volunteers. They're all highly motivated individuals who give freely of their time, and it's quite a staggering thing that people will, of their own free will, get out of the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning on a cold, wet, rainy night, perhaps when it's very windy, perhaps when the sea's very rough, and they'll join a crew and go to sea to help someone they've never met, will probably never meet again. If you happen to be fortunate enough to go and actually save somebody, and somebody looks you in the eye and says, thank you for saving my life, that, for the team, is the ultimate reward. You don't want to be in the papers, you don't want any sort of recognition in that way, that's enough. And the odd occasions that happens, we come back in here with the lifeboat and the boys don't want to go home. We sit around and talk about it for hours, and you remember those. My relationship to the sea is a love-hate relationship. Over the years when I was fishing, it provided me with an income. In 10 minutes' time, we might be going down the slip with this to help somebody who's been a victim of the sea. So it's love-hate, isn't it? The description is, from a fishing point of view, it provides with one hand and takes your life with the other, and I think that's very true. Yeah, it can be frightening. Anyone who says that they haven't been frightened at sea either hasn't done very much or is playing a very dangerous game. The sea's got the upper hand, always, and I think when you get complacent and take your eye off the ball, look out. Things are improving, capabilities are improving all the time, but we never win it. The sea will always win it. We're just getting better. To go out of here on a dark, bad night, for someone who hasn't experienced that, is frightening. Because you're suddenly launched down that slipway into an environment which you can't see, or you can only see a little bit of, and it's throwing you all over the place. It's challenging, to say the least, and to me, it brings huge admiration that people will put themselves and put their trust in the team, the boat, and that's what it's all about. Lifeboat work is very, very much today, as it's always been, about local knowledge. The equipment might have changed, the sea hasn't changed, and the volunteers going to do the job, that element hasn't changed. And you need to know, and your crew need to know, where the rocks are. Turn your fancy electronic gadgets off turn the lights out or let the sun go down, and you still need to know your own area, where the rocks are, what the tide's doing. So if you've got somebody who's been doing that for 30 or 40 years, who's still medically fit and able and willing, why on earth forcefully retire them from a voluntary position? I'm 55, and hopefully, Lord willing, I can go on until I'm 60 perhaps, doing this job. I would like to, but who knows? That's not in my hands.